Welcome back to the next session of a very busy Centre Court Specialised Masters Festival with Poets and Quants, which for the next hour, it takes us to London and the beautiful Regent's Park, home, of course, to London Business School and a range of specialised masters beyond the MBA. As we've said, graduate management education is so much more than the MBA. And for those looking to accelerate their career in finance, it's an extraordinary school to go to. And it's my pleasure to welcome Tailor Tsang. Tailor is the Senior Recruitment and Admissions Manager for the MSc in Financial Analysis, and also the chance to get the student voice. We're delighted to welcome Snigdha Alada. Snigdha studied biomed at UCL in London for undergrad, did some really interesting internships at Lazard, Evercore, JP Morgan, and now she's back in the classroom, been there for the last 2-3 months and a student ambassador. So both of you, welcome. It's always a pleasure to describe London Business School. Tailor, you've made it home for yourself. Tell us a little bit about the school and perhaps where the MSc in Financial Analysis fits in that portfolio of programs.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Matt. And hello, everyone. My name is Xiaoya, pronouns she and her. And as Matt introduced, we look after masters in financial analysis. But beyond that, we have three more programs in our portfolio, which is more generalized masters in management, and our double degree program, global masters in management, as well as specialized, apart from MFA, the masters in analytics and management, actually our new baby in data analytics, which is a topic so many people cared about. So to describe London Business School, where do I start? How much time do we have? I think it's without doubt one of the top business schools in the world. Most of our all of our programs are highly globally ranked, and we are well established. We are highly reputable among employers as well, and our graduates are really competitive, and they in all different disciplines of business. But I think what also makes us special is we are a postgraduate only standalone business school, so we're not a comprehensive university. We think that 11 degree programs or business focused, you can really build a close-knit network. We're centrally located in London. Snigdha can probably talk more about how nice the campus is. I really like our campus. Essentially, I think LBS is all about people. It's a community. It's a living and breathe network of high achieving, humble, kind, supportive, nice people. And yeah, they help each other, which gonna impact for long term, just more than a program, the duration of a program. So that would be my take. It's a collection of great people.
It's a great place to start, so thank you very much. And humility is a quality I always really appreciate. I suppose as you and your teams think about the Sloan program for candidates in their mid-30s and a later stage of their career, this MSc in Financial Analysis is earlier, and we'll be talking to Snigdha about her own career path and choices. So who is it best suited for? Is it in the first year, 2 years coming out of undergraduate?
Yes, so all of our postgraduate masters have the similar criteria. It's for people who graduated from their undergrad degree within 2 years of time before they start the program. So, for example, we are recruiting for a class that's starting August 2025. That means they have to graduate from their last degree from 2023 and onwards. Otherwise, they'd be kind of overqualified it makes more sense for them to look at mid-career programs like MBA and MIF. But the work experience wise, we don't ask people to must have full-time experience at all, not at all. There is a mixture of fresh undergrads, fresh graduates out of university, and people who probably taken a gap year. So as long as you have accumulated certain level of professional exposure, either through internships or through charity work, community work, student work, pro bono projects, or research projects, you don't need a full-time role at all. So there is no advantage of having a full-time experience.
Right. A real diverse range of backgrounds. And for many looking for that accelerator to then pursue a career in finance.
Yes, definitely. I would say MFA is definitely more finance focused. 70% of the class will go into investment banking, probably another 10-15 going to buy side roles straight away, and the rest goes to financial consulting, fintech, finance related service industries. Snick now probably can adding more. And for masters in management and global masters in management is almost like an early career MBA. People go into all different directions, consulting, banking, tech, diversified sector. And for masters in analytics management, which is the combination of data analytics and management, people definitely go into consulting, banking, tech as the major outlets, but with probably more data focused or analytical roles. So that's kind of, we would recommend everyone who is interested to download our employment report. It has the most details in them, really shows the whole picture of different sectors, locations people go into.
Well, we'll find out if Snigdha downloaded that employment report before getting started. I mentioned studying biomed, Snigdha, at UCL, wonderful school. Um, did you always then have business school in mind for the next steps? Was that already reflected in some of the internships that you had done?
I mean, so obviously you mentioned I've like completed several internships in investment banking. And like you said, I mean, I guess I had that practical experience in finance, but I didn't really have that academic grounding. And I think that's what really drew me to a master's and pursuing a master's, like further education, right? And obviously LBS, like really stood out to me because of its core courses, its elective offerings, its global experience offerings, and like the London, I guess, location as well as a whole. And I did consider applying to several other similar programs in London. But LBS again stood out to me because it's a school where you take your theory and you apply it pretty much straight away into practice. And it's a very practical learning environment. And as someone who grew up with a very diverse international background, I was also drawn to the strong community and the very diverse community that LBS offers. So I think there were a lot of different factors that really drew me to LBS. Well, I guess I wasn't sure what program I would be best suited to at LBS. And I actually reached out to the recruitment team. And it was through reaching out to them and saying, listen, well, I got a background in biomed. I know I didn't do finance in my undergrad, but I have done internships and I'm super excited to go into finance. Would the MFA would I be well suited to the MFA? And they were like, yeah, absolutely. And I think that's what really solidified me applying and I guess just having LBS as my top choice, which it was when I was applying, was really solidified through speaking to student ambassadors, alumni, attending club events, graduate masters events such as this, and just reaching out to the admissions team. So all in all, I'm very happy that I actually got in and that I'm now here. But
Well,
yeah, I always
congratulations
did
on
want to do a master's
being
degree.
being selected to such a selective school. You'd mentioned adding that academic layer and having had experiences at Evercore, for example, or most recently at JP Morgan. Did that then make you mindful of how your career could then further develop by bringing in, you know, a really strong financial analytics skill set?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, like you said, I got that practical experience. And I think what my internships at JP Morgan, my spring weeks at Evercore, Lazard, I actually did a recent summer internship at PJT just this summer before starting LBS. I guess I realized that I really had the skill set that was tailored towards investment banking. But what's so great about the MFA is that at least the core courses and the electives offering are so broad and it covers pretty much the whole array of finance, like asset management, private equity, corporate finance, investment banking, such that anyone who completes this course is then well placed to enter any field within finance as they have those core skills that they need. And for me, as I've only really focused on investment banking, I wanted that core skill set to be able to then apply it within different areas of finance. If I then decide, okay, I've done my stint in investment banking, maybe I want to switch to private equity. LBS would have given me that grounding and that base level of knowledge that I would need to enter the industry.
Right. Yeah, I was going to ask in terms of the curriculum, because obviously the core program, and then perhaps how you can personalize and adapt. And if you want an ESG finance focus or private equity as describing. So how do you then start to think about the courses that you're taking? And has there been a favorite already in the first few months of being in the program?
So we have core courses, and off the top of my head, I'm not too sure how many there are, but this term we've had investment fundamentals. We're just starting corporate finance, got data analytics for finance, and analysis of financial statements. And already you can just see that there's such a breadth across finance. And so far, interestingly, my favorite has been investment fundamentals, which is a bit surprising given that my background is in investment banking and this is more so a course that is tailored towards asset management. But I really like the maths aspect of it. I've always been drawn to maths and numbers, so I've really enjoyed that course. And I'm looking forward to starting corporate finance this week as well. Our lecturer is Alex Edmonds, and for those of you who haven't heard of him, I would recommend checking out his TED Talks because he is quite the public speaker.
I see you nodding. So yeah, perhaps you've not just seen the TED Talks, but seen him live and in action.
Yeah,
So
he's
well,
definitely an absolute legend of the course. A lot of people kind of get attracted to the course by his star power as well. He's he's kind of the example of our faculty who does not only teach, but he worked at JP Morgan, he taught at Wharton, so he has a plethora of practical experiences as well as a lot of real life advisory experiences working with top corporates to bringing into the classroom. So I think that really exemplified the applied way of teaching and learning at LBS. He's really an leading thought leader, but as well as a very talented corporate advisor. And also he's very great at public speaking, at fitness, at everything. Like, is there anything
a real
that he can do?
superstar.
Yeah.
Well, Snigdha, let's just go back to you for Alex Edmond and, of course, other wonderful faculty at the school, because people could dutifully study for CFA level 1, 2, 3, maybe in their bedroom and just spend enough time to get through. Bringing the subjects alive, is that something that you're very conscious of with Alex and other professors?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's definitely a difference I've noticed at LBS. The lecturers and our just generally our teachers, they do care about making the classes interactive and engaging. And that is something I can definitely say is a difference to most of our undergraduate educations through speaking to my cohort and different people in the MFA and generally across all programs at LBS, for sure.
Right. In terms of finding the right program, so yeah, Snigdha was saying, she got in touch with the school, lots of different options, and the time that you then took with her to talk through what might best align. Your advice as candidates are looking for the right program and also the right culture and institution. Both of you have talked about this extraordinary global mindset that's at the heart of London Business School. So how do you then advise candidates to find the right school and the right program for them?
Matt, thank you for that question because it's such a vital question to ask. I think that's twofold. That one fold is how do you decide a program, and the second one is how do you even decide which university you go to, because there are so many programs and unis on the market and such a big investment. I think what adds to the difficulty for pre-experienced master is your future is so open. You can literally go either way, and you have a rough idea what interests you, but that can be in the format of so many different jobs because you can cultivate your kind of the core business awareness and corporate skills in so many major industries or startups. So I would say what I would advise is definitely, as Snigdha said, reach out to a recruitment team. Admissions, every university will tell you the same. They love the candidates to take the proactive steps and really engage with the recruitment team. And bear in mind, any communication you had with recruitment will only help your application. It will be independent. Don't feel that you are under scrutiny or you're being evaluated. Not at all. All the sole purpose of recruitment team is to help you support submit a stronger application. And I think another big thing is to reach out to the community, because on the brochure, on the website, so the program sounds more or less the same, top class teaching, like diversity and so on and so forth. But it's not until you actually talk to the alumni, talk to the students, what's best is come to on campus. But if you're not trying to connect with people who are currently studying, who already graduated and who probably graduated for a few years, so you can kind of see how different the experience is and understand the long-time impact. Because the program is definitely not only for you to get a job, it's definitely something you invest for the rest of your life, because this might be the last degree programs you're going to do. So I think really understand, do I see myself thrive in this environment? That's funny enough that we ask our alumni when they interview is, do I see this person as part of my study group? Do I see them as my future peer alumni? So really it's that level of culture fit and belongingness and something. And also based on this research, then you can submit a strong application form to any university, because all the application will ask you why you should specifically choose our program. So I think that in-depth specific research of each program and culture is really, really important. So definitely reach out to the team and speak to the community and attend events. There's so many events. This event as an example.
Snigdha, Tailor was describing members of that community, said clearly very smart, but said they're kind, they're humble. Is that something that you've already experienced? Is there a sense of sort of solidarity and support among each of you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think everyone has this preconceived notion that business school is super competitive. And of course it is. I mean, sure, like we all come here to excel academically. We're all from top universities. But I think at the end of the day, our collaborative spirit and how welcome and kind everyone is towards just helping each other out, or just even with the alumni, just giving back to the community, coming back to LBS, giving us talks, being part of panels, and putting in the time and taking the time out of their busy days to come back and speak to us, I think just really showcases the kind of person that LBS fosters and the kind of community that LBS fosters. And I thought to myself, well, that business school is only a year long. I'm going to work into industry. I mean, will I really meet lifelong friends? And I can already say that after 2 months I have, and the people that I've met here are definitely people that'll be in my life for a long time to come.
And all of this in a city that you know and that you love.
Exactly.
Beyond the classroom, not that they give
Mhm.
you a whole lot of time, I'm sure the coursework keeps you very, very busy. But tell us a little bit about the clubs and perhaps even interacting then with the MBA students and some of the exec ed students, because there's such a mix on the campus.
Of course. I mean, so the great thing about LBS is that it really fosters the getting involved, that sort of spirit. And in that vein, I'm a student ambassador, obviously. I'm the MFA career representative for my stream. So I liaise with the Career Center to make sure that we are able to bring the best offering to my cohort and my stream. And alongside that, especially in these graduate master's programs, you can apply to be part of the executive committee for some of these clubs. So, for example, I'm on the executive committee for the PEBC club, and it's through that actually that I'm able to work quite closely with MBA students, because they're part of the senior executive committee and I'm part of the junior. And that is super valuable, not only for building your network, but for forging lifelong connections. I mean, if you think after LBS you want to go start your own business, well, you've got the backing and the thoughts and the ideas of these MBA students, of these Masters in Finance students, of people on the MIM, people on the MFA. And I think that's what's so valuable about LBS. And through these roles that I have, of them being multiple, I guess I just look to foster a really supportive and collaborative environment, which is in LBS spirit. And just being surrounded by just such switched on and driven peers, it's definitely made me want to communicate more effectively, think more critically, and just approach problems with more creativity, because I'm surrounded by such a diverse cohort who have had such a wide range of experiences. And
Mm.
especially being able to learn from some of the MBAs has been so valuable.
Mm. Perhaps it would be something difficult to capture in an employment report, the smart skill sets of your graduates. But do employers give you feedback and say, one of the things that we love with the MFA students is that creativity, the way that they can look at a problem or, interacting in international teams. What sort of feedback do you get from employers?
Yes, I think I'll definitely steal one of Snickner's vocabulary is switched on. That's so bang on because what the feedback we get from employer is obvious graduates are just so ready. They work into the office like if they have done this for 10 years. So there is no, because you get that kind of the onboarding onboarding phrase when people kind of transit from a student into a working professional. They're a bit timid, they're still figuring out things, they don't know what's the right etiquette, communication. Maybe the hard knowledge is there, but either they will need more time or find it challenging to adapt to a real business world or business cases, or they find more time to kind of gel with the team and actually find their position in a teamwork and really show their leadership quality. This is actually the strength of our LBS students. Of course, they are top tier in terms of their education quality, in terms of their talent, their skills, but really it's the overall confidence, teamwork, and the kind of the soft power really make them stand out in the job market. And the data supports, and also from anecdotes, they are among the most welcome and popular candidates in the job market across the globe. So I think what makes them really mature is, first of all, they have the confidence to work in a diverse team. They are already studying and working in a highly interactive, highly collaborative, international, truly diverse environment. So they are open-minded, courageous, they know how to deal with team conflicts, and they know how to bring the team together. And I think the other thing is really as I mentioned before, the applicable knowledge they have gained. So we have London Lab, London Business Challenge Week, which are real business problem based kind of modules that you work with real companies, and they go on global experiential trips to work with companies and stakeholders around the globe. And there are so many, as Snickner mentioned, PVC club, professional clubs have so many connections, seminars, and their own projects that you get so much practice before you even move into your work environment. And I think they always have that peer support. So they are very close group. Anything you really bounce off each other so much. You experience similar things. You vent together, you laugh together, you celebrate each other. If you have problems, you pick up a phone call and you text a message. There are people sharing the similar problems or can offer you solution, or just a shoulder to cry on. So it really is the support. They all become kind of learning buddies and like mentor mentee of each other throughout the journey, and you get mentorship from the LBS connection as well. So I think that really makes them not only stand out in the job marketing recruitment process, but also make them grow really fast into leadership roles once they start the job.
Right. So with those mentors and an extraordinary networks, Nicola, you were describing the connection that you then have with the career management team. There's an understandable focus on, what's the first job that I'm going to get out of business school with the investment that you've made. But you already get the sense that they're preparing you not just for that first position, but stepping stones of a career path that you're building.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like we've got such a wide range on offer in the career center. So it's not only investment banking or finance. We've got talks like what are alternative jobs within finance that students could be open and actually apply to. We've got private equity, and we've got I guess, career leads for each of these verticals within finance, and they are so specialized at what they do, and they are so strong, and they offer one-to-ones with students, and that really offers you a one-to-one, I guess, or a personalized experience to LBS and the knowledge and the experience that they have and that they've built throughout their time within the world, the working world of finance per se. And they can really pass on that key knowledge and tailor it to your situation. I think that's what makes the career center so unique. And even in my position where I've come into LBS, I've already got a job, but just having a sounding board that I can, well, having them as a sounding board that I can use to bounce off of and say, well, this is what I have, but is this actually really right for me? Is super, super helpful. And I'm super appreciative of it.
Right. Well, we really appreciate with Centre Court because, of course, trying to capture those experiences, the insights, your voices. And, Snigdha, coming out of UCL, different internship experiences that you had, you were thinking, well, a master's, I could wait maybe a couple of years and do the post-experience at MIF at London Business School or an MBA. What advice or guidance would you share with candidates from all over the world that will be watching this live or in the weeks to come to find the right program and the sort of things to think about specializing versus the more general MBA alternative?
I mean, all I would say is look at the program offerings, look at where you are in life. I mean, there's a lot of people who have done this 1 or 2 years in the working world and that have now joined the MFA because they either want to pivot or they feel as though they need to build up their skill set more to become a more attractive candidate to these firms, or they want to widen their skill set and their knowledge. And I mean, I've touched on this already, but for me, it was more so to widen my knowledge and to become a more specialized player, but in multiple fields, if that makes sense. Rather than solely investment banking, I really wanted to expand my offerings and what I can offer as a prospective employee. So I would just say, and this is why LBS is so great, because even in the application, they really get you to reflect on where you are in your life right now, both personally and professionally, and explain why LBS would be the best fit for you at this time and in this moment, and really break down what your 5, 10 year goals are and what you can do to get yourself there and how LBS can help you and what you would want to be able to take from LBS. So I'd say really sitting down and having that reflection with yourself will help you realize whether the early careers programs are better for you or whether maybe you're better suited to a master in finance or an MBA.
Right. And did you feel that perhaps the opportunity cost was different? You'd get this wonderful accelerator early on in your career, perhaps rather than in your late 20s when going back to business school, it might be a different equation in your head.
No, absolutely. And the fact that I had this opportunity so early on, I just feel like it just completely bolsters my career, right? Because I've got this really solid grounding in finance, which I can just jump off of. Whereas I feel like once you start working, you get very used to routine. Me myself, I'm definitely a creature of habit, and I wouldn't want to stop working to go to a business school and do an MBA, for example. So the fact that LBS has this offering and such a strong offering as well is what makes it special.
Yeah. Now, your enthusiasm, both of you, is palpable on the screen. Celia, perhaps just a few final words about viewers and next steps, reaching out to the school. You mentioned info sessions, events like this one. What's a good place to start to find out more about the school and about the Masters in Financial Analytics?
Thank you, Matt. I think the first step is definitely website. The website is kind of the online catalog of everything. It's the directory that we have an events page that you can filter by program, by region, by time, see what events are happening where. A lot of them are online, so you can join from every corner of the world, but we do tour around the world as well. In fact, I've just been back from Munich and Frankfurt and have met so many exciting candidates on the road. So if you can meet any of the community in person, it will be absolutely great. And the second is the website will have a designated page for student ambassadors and alumni profile for you to reach out to. But I would say don't wait, because either you might from your own network have 1 or 2 people removed from you that know someone from LBS, especially if you are doing internships or venturing into the business world. It will be hard not to know anyone from their company from LBS. So I would say definitely reach out yourself, and even on LinkedIn, be polite, cold outreach to our students or alumni. They are usually super responsive, and that they appreciate this kind of effort in knowing the brand and the community. And then join as many events as possible. Get in touch with our recruitment admissions team, which is globalmasters@london.edu. Or if you know which program you want, it's generally the acronym like MIM at london.edu, MFA at london.edu, so on and so forth. So definitely write to our inbox and we will be happy to pick it up. Yeah, and just read as much as possible, not only on LBS, on any programs you wish to apply for. And I feel this is going to be a big investment. So I'd recommend you to probably look around all different programs and make the right choice for you. So yeah, that would be my advice.
And we're going to make it required viewing for everybody on Centre Court to watch Alex Edmonds on TEDx. Snigdha, just a final word, because superstar professors, extraordinarily talented classmates, and perhaps some candidates, it's almost intimidating. So a final word to find that self-confidence, to put yourself forward and applying to the program, and any words of encouragement that you'd give to our viewers?
Honestly, I would just say reach out to the LBS community. I think it's an incredibly daunting task. I had to do it myself, but after reaching out to one of the student ambassadors who had done the MFA 2 years ago, like I'm just echoing what I said before. He was so lovely and really taught me through the entire admissions process. Took the time out of his day to really sit me down and say, listen, this is what you can expect. This is what the community's like. I'd recommend. Like he was the one that told me about Alex Edmonds actually, and just that whole giving back culture is hugely enforced at LBS, and I think it just runs deep within all of our veins because it's not even something that has to be said out loud. It just is, and I think because of that, I think like you've just got to take the first step and just reach out. I mean, I'm definitely more than happy to help if anyone wants to reach out to me. And I know my peers are very much in the same boat. And I guess that's my one piece of advice. You won't know until you try. So,
Well, both of you, I think, encouraging our viewers to reach out, to take that first step. You're wonderful ambassadors for London Business School and for the MFA. So, Snigdha, Toya, thank you, both of you, for joining us here at Centre Court.